Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back with another recording of Hearthstone. Today is oddly Thursday, March 29th. We're making up for a failed attempt to stream on Wednesday. We've got a win 7 quest and play 30 Shaman class cards. And Tragic Master did make an interesting point. I could go into the solo adventure mode and do dungeon runs and get win 7 quests this way, and we could see if that works. But before I do that, I would want to get the Tavern Brawl done and get the Shaman cards played. So we were playing this deck doing pirate cards. We don't need to do that anymore. So now Shaman and just cheap Shaman things. Suppose if I made a Jade deck, that would work pretty well too. All these overload cards would be the worst cards ever to play. Well, that's good enough, I think, to play. We're going through a lot of news. There's a game called Jalopy that's rated 71% out of 69 users positive in the last 30 days. It came out March 28th, but Jalopy, I believe, has been in early access. It's the first one by this developer. It's 40% off, and it's selling for $8.99, which is pretty expensive, to be fair. But I believe, unless I'm misremembering this game is you build, refuel, and drive a dilapidated old car on a grand journey through the territories of a former Eastern Bloc. So it's this kind of like story-based experience. The graphics don't look great. They're low polygon 3D things. You could say it's an artistic style, but I wouldn't believe you. I would say it's a lack of ability and budget.
There is little time.
Let's see. It's pretty expensive. But it's now 1.0, so now would be the time if you were interested in playing Jalopy. Now would be the time to play it.
By the holy light.
Let's see.
Ready for action.
Like. The negative reviews say it's incredibly buggy even after release. This is a March 29th review. I'm not talking small bugs, I'm talking game-breaking bugs. Other than that, the game is awesome, but sorry, I can't. So yeah, I think you probably still would want to wait on Jalopy. And honestly, it's on my wish list already, but the more I'm looking at it, I want to take it off my wish list, and I do not have a way to do that. Like, you cannot remove things from your wish list very easily. I can mark it as not interested, and that's about all I can do. There, I lost my turn.
That was a mistake.
Tragic Master says it does work if you need to do the win 7 and hurry. You can cheat it by starting the dungeon run, win 2, then concede the round in the peak, only for use in the quest emergency. Thanks, Tragic Master. I did believe you. I totally believe you, and I am gonna do that. I'm just prioritizing the Tavern Brawl and getting a victory there first because, well, if I don't get the Tavern Brawl done in the next few days, I'm going to lose it and lose that pack, which is worth 150 gold versus the 100 gold I would get for the 7 victories. Your game has an article. Super Mario Odyssey just added 2 new costumes, and one is apparently him in a Super NES style spaceman outfit. No, I wouldn't call it that. No, it's a Satellaview suit, and the other is in a baseball uniform and batting helmet. I got into a rant with somebody that they were watching this TV show called Scorpion, and these people were playing baseball, and so there's this epic scene at the end where the runner, the person on third base, was sliding into home. The bad guy had the ball in his glove and was trying to touch him with the glove as he's also landing on third base. The guy with the ball, the bad guy that's not the runner. And then, as the camera reveals, somehow the bad guy dropped the baseball and it rolled under the runner, who wasn't touching home plate and never had touched home plate, and he was holding it. The runner had slid and underslid home plate, and he was holding the ball. And then somehow he said he won. And I was ranting at this person and going, look, I don't watch baseball. I don't know baseball rules that well, but I know that if you're running to home plate and the ball happened to roll by you as the runner and you pick it up, you just made yourself out. If the ball touches you whatsoever, you're out. Now I imagine that there are some rules that say you can't just chunk the ball at the runner and throw at him, but that probably would even if you did do that, you'd probably get suspended or kicked from the league, but the person would still probably be out. So, unless there's some crazy rule that says you as the runner, the person who's supposed to be avoiding being touched by the ball, can then pick up the ball off the ground and play keep away in baseball, like, I don't know what kind of idiot was writing Scorpion that week, but I hate that show so much.
Well played.
Tragic Master says, tasty free packs are making me so happy to be playing Hearthstone during the Year Raven celebration. Thank you in advance, Blizzard, for the 3,000 packs. How are you getting 3,000 packs? Explain that one to me, Tragic Master. Ultra Hunt says the same thing you said 3 times in 3 streams. Ultra Hunt, you're saying the same thing word for word each time. I'm gonna warn you like one last time, and then I'm gonna block you. If you come back in this stream on any of my streams and you tell somebody and you phrase it exactly the same way, and then you leave my stream and don't say anything else, I'm gonna ban you as a spammer because you're acting very much like a spam bot. And if you want people to friend you and challenge you, you need to be the one who's willing to put up your information and type your own stupid battle tag. See, you've got me mad now. You type your own battle tag in the chat and let people see it. Quit asking people to come on here and type in their battle tag. Because this feels like you're running some kind of scam or trying to run some kind of scam. I have no problem with people sharing their battle tags, but if you want to share your battle tag, you type your battle tag. Don't come on my chat asking other people to do something you're not willing to do. Tragic Master says, lol, I'm teasing that I'm going to win 3,000 pack giveaway. Lol, that was the only way I could ever get 3,000 packs. But somebody has to win them. It might just be me or you. Yep, it might be. It's highly unlikely it will be, but it might be. I'm not sure if that was still going on, really. Moving back to video game stuff. There's a game called Oneness. Oneness is a simple puzzle game with a simple challenge, but I think it's supposed to be with simple but challenging rules. It's not even spelled right. It's the only game from the producer, the developer, on Steam. 15% off for $8.84. And the first screenshot is just of the menu. The second screenshot is of the menu again. The third screenshot is, this looks like a cell phone game. It's like some kind of puzzle game where you're supposed to fill the entire board, it seems, maybe with lines. Like, I don't know, it seems like a extremely simple puzzle. Simplistic program. So they've got the price right. There's just no reviews here. And for a puzzle game from a new person with no reviews, you really can't recommend anybody even try it out. You really can't recommend a game from a new developer that's a simple puzzle game, because I mean, I don't even know. Ultralight says, okay, you don't have to get so mad. Sorry. Yeah. But this has been like the third or fourth time you've come in the chat and said the exact same thing and then said nothing else. I'm looking at a game called No Guard. No reviews. Let's see. It's the only game released on Steam by this developer. It's $4.99 with no discount. Playing Shaman Guards. Now, this game, No Guard, N-O-G-A-R-D, looks like a intentionally artistic low polygon game. So if this is like a low polygon asset flip, at the very least it's combined into a thematical experience. You seem to be playing as like a golem on these floating islands, where I'm not sure if the floating islands are really there because it improves the gameplay in any way, or if it's just there because it helps them make smaller play areas. And it seems like the golem changes into different styles, so like there's an air powers and earth powers,
Tremble before
water powers.
mortals.
This actually looks like a real game. It's like $5. It has gas, solid, and liquid powers is how it's described, so it's not quite right. And it claims it's rated E for everybody by the ESRB, and almost certainly it isn't.
Takari killed trespassers.
Let's see. Yeah, what do you do for a new game that looks like it might have some... Like, you can't really support a game like this on the factor that it's probably lying on the ESRB rating alone. It's too expensive to spend money on, even though it doesn't look horrible. And the problem with Valve and Steam right now is the fact that there are people out there willing to roll the dice and spend $5 on complete unknowns, and that's why people are willing to pay the $100 to put complete unknown games on sale on Steam. This is, I suppose, the other side of the lack of curation on Valve's part, is that because there's nobody curating any of the games whatsoever, then you often might have to be the first person to play a game because there's no reviews. If you're the type of person who's playing brand new games as they come out because you've played all other games, or don't want to play any of the older games, which that is a very small number of people, and that certainly explains why the top 100 games are getting 50% of the sales, is because the top 100 games are trustworthy games of a level of quality.
You wish to live forever.
Let's see. Ultra Hunt goes, hey guys, this is my battle tag. Ultra Hunt 667, number signed 1609. See, it wasn't that hard.
Quickly.
Gamatsu says Guns of Icarus Alliance for PS4 launches May 1st. It'll feature cross-platform play and voice chat with the PC versions. What is Guns of Icarus though? Alliance. Let's watch the trailer. Right now we're still just playing shiny cards. Whoever gives out all these awards with this very specific logo of two flowers on the edge, kind of like an old Olympic award. Apparently they give out a lot of them, and people use that logo way too much. I suppose there is a lot of room for people making different types of seals of approval and awards that hasn't happened yet. Like if there was a Microsoft seal of approval, a Sony seal of approval, a Giant Bomb seal of approval, or a Metacritic seal of approval. I don't think Metacritic would ever do it, but if there were different looking logos for different companies, that would be interesting. That really is what Metacritic is at the end of the day. It's comparing and contrasting and combining other people's reviews. So the fact that I keep seeing the same awards that with the same logo makes me think that there's somebody out there that gives an award to every game that comes out there. There was a movie critic that they found a couple years ago, where he was just a made-up person for the movie theaters, and so there was actually nobody by that name. And they just, whenever they wanted a good review for a bad movie, they would write it themselves and publish it, which is should be illegal. Apparently Guns of Icarus Allies is kind of this futuristic airplane shooter game, which is an interesting idea. Certainly, if you like the idea of playing an airplane game, like a air fighting what is that? Well, an air fighting game, whatever that phrase is, while also being futuristic and kind of hardcore looking. There was a Snoopy air fighting game that came out several years ago on the Xbox 360, and I found it actually rather fun for what it was worth. But it was heavily reliant on people playing. There you go. Let's see. We've got this new person on chat, Tony, who's writing in Russian. One of the rules over here is English only. You can write in let's see. So stick to English if you want to stick around, and try to make your comments more relevant, please, and not just troll comments. Ultra Hunt says, "Hey Rydo, I'm sorry you got you so mad on the chat. Don't block me from the channel. I love watching your videos." I don't even know if that's what that does. Honestly, I don't know if I block people if they can't watch my videos or if they just can't chat. I thought it would probably just block them from chat. But you've corrected Ultra Hunt, so I'm willing to forgive it. Just don't do anything else irritating for a while, and all will be forgotten. Let's see. I'm not super ban happy.
A tactical
the only people I really ban are people that I don't think are even really human beings, just like spam bots or very aggressive, very angry people that need the help to leave themselves. And so if the people I do ban can't look at my videos anymore, I guess that's fine with me. Even as a extremely struggling YouTuber that use every single view he could get, there are still some people that would be better off just not seeing my content. Square Enix announces its PAX East 2018 lineup events, running from April 5th to April 8th in Boston. Let's see what it is. It's a Final Fantasy 15 battle change where battle challenge where fans challenge Bayako, which I assume Bayako is somebody who worked on Final Fantasy 15. The photo opportunity featuring backgrounds from the city of Final Fantasy, Opera Omnia, and Nier Automata, and daily giveaways, Final Fantasy buttons, Final Fantasy foam swords, and Final Fantasy t-shirts. I guess none of that matters. Really, there's apparently going to be a presentation for Final Fantasy 15 Windows Edition, Final Fantasy 14 Online, Nier Automata panels, and let's see, whole bunch of games available to play. Chocobo's Crystal Hunt, which is a card game, The City of Final Fantasy for iOS and Android, Final Fantasy trading card game, Final Fantasy 14 Online, Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition. That sounds new. I hadn't heard of a Pocket Edition. Final Fantasy 15 Windows Edition, a game called Gravel for Xbox One, PS4, and PC, Life is Strange Before the Storm, which is PS4 and Xbox One, and something called OC. What is OC? Like, I have no idea.
Let's show our guests.
And then Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. That sounds like a new game too. And here Automata PS4. So you can kind of tell that PAX East, for a short time there, it was coming out as this place where they were going to start announcing games instead of E3. But at least for Square Enix, which is a Japanese company, they certainly aren't really releasing anything interesting there. This. Turn. There's a game called Dragonfang Z, The Rose and Dungeon of Time, that's now available for the PS4 in Japan. It's a top-down dungeon crawler, if I've ever seen one. Roguelike RPG. It was previously launched for the Switch and PC. It doesn't look very high quality as far as these games. They sure seem to love to make these games, but I wonder if a lot of it is it's just cheap to make these games. Like, maybe it doesn't have to sell that much if you're just making a cheap game and selling it in Japan. Particularly when in Japan you can get away with charging probably more money than you would anywhere else. Let's see, there's a game on Valve called Beer and Skittles, with Skittles misspelled S-K-I-T-T-L-S, VR. And this is the second game from this producer. The first one was Outbreak in Space VR. They want $2, no discount for this. And maybe Skittles is a different game that I've never heard of, instead of a, like, candy, because that's the only Skittles I've ever heard of. So there's a bunch of beer bottles lined up on the ground, and then you're throwing beer bottles at the beer bottles on the ground in VR. Which, I don't know if very many bars would let you do this as a game. And the bar that this is being done in for their background, which I assume is just this asset flip bar, is not the right kind of bar that would really let you do something like that. It seems like none of these glasses break or have any physics that would cause them to break, because in the demo somebody's just picking them up and throwing them as hard as possible. Yes, this is like a really nice looking pub with nice looking seats and chairs and floors. Nobody's gonna let you throw beer bottles on the ground or something like that. It's not a trashy dive. So this feels like this is just a cheap gameplay demo, and somebody tried to make up a game. Just like a really stupid game. It wouldn't be too far away from something like Bocce Ball, except for you're playing with beer bottles for no reason. So I can't recommend a game that doesn't make any sense. Let's see, there's a game that came out March 29th called Empires Apart. It's mixed with 64% of 57 reviews positive. It's the only game released, although they have a deluxe version and a soundtrack available from this developer. It's 15% off for $25.49. A really, really expensive amount of money. And let's see. This looks like it's a real-time strategy, real-time tactics game. Nothing looks too wrong about it for that. Like, Ages of Empires came to to Steam, and like it was just such an old-looking game. I don't think I'd want to play it even for the nostalgia. So this one's caught my attention as a game. It's got single-player multiplayer and online multiplayer. What's wrong with this game that people are giving it negative reviews? I'm gonna look at the 23 negative reviews. That's it. Okay. Here's a long review. What a massive letdown this game is. Being a huge fan of RTS games for many years, I watched the development of this game over the last 6 or so months with interest, hoping it would pick up some where the likes of Ages of Empires left off, perhaps with modern takes on the tried and truest formats. No such luck. Well, unless by modern you expect the increasingly cynical approach game developers are taking these days by releasing half-finished, fully optimized content and promising further updates to provide content that should be there at launch. So, alright, next review is, because I'm not going to read that whole review. Pathfinder is a broken mess. Villagers get stuck in buildings and edges. Boats have to be moved a bit or else they'll get stuck on corners. AI keeps getting stuck on itself, builds one house and maxing out villagers that just chill outside the town center doing nothing, and it's a cheap and shallow Ages of Empire 2 clone. So I guess you see now why people aren't liking it. It's a functionality problem for Empires Apart. So if this is a weird game, because if you were to see this game, which actually is in my discovery queue, oddly, if you were to see this game a year from now, and it's highly positive, like 80-90% positive, then they may have fixed all the problems. But right now, they're releasing it as a broken mess, and I can't recommend anybody play a broken mess. Speaking of broken messes, the next game is called Desolate Clone Catastrophe. It looks like a total asset flip, piece of junk garbage game. The graphics are MS Paint level quality, CG, like it's 3D but just barely. This is the third game that has been released, or maybe the fourth game, and none of the games by this developer look good. He wants $5 with no discount for this. It's got like 3 areas in each level, 9 total levels. You wouldn't want to spend any time on it whatsoever, and that's why there are literally no reviews for it. So, easy enough to say don't buy Desolate. It's also pretty easy to say don't buy Live Z Survival. 2 reviews right now, and I think they're both negative. It's an early access base building game that looks like it's a bunch of asset flips for a top-down strategy base building game, which is not what you expect from Live Z. Although Steam thinks it's similar to the Evil Within. It's 20% off right now for $7.99. It's way too expensive. Let's see. The only 2 reviews I have are in like One is in Russian and it's negative, and then there's one in German, which you don't see a lot of German reviews. It looks like that. So let's see. Did not work at the end. I think pretty much it says €2 not worth at the end, so not worth €2. If I can roughly translate German as somebody who can't actually do that. Yeah, it's a total garbage. Knew it was going to be garbage from the second that I saw the name. We've got another game here that came out the 29th called Flashpoint Fire Rescue from Retro Epic Software, which also made a game called A Day in the Woods, which looks like a Catan ripoff or something like Catan, maybe not a ripoff. So let's look at Flashpoint. This game is $19.99 and it's local multiplayer, local co-op, and single player. And you play as a fireman who's actually, I think, trying to save people. Like putting out fires and breaking down walls. Seems like little bits of sparks can jump around and explode a kind of grid-like buildings into large engulfments of flame. So it doesn't feel like the goal of the game is to directly put out the fire as much as it is to rescue people.
I'm out of cards.
It's a fancy trailer. The graphics look alright. Not great. But apparently this was funded with fake money, which could explain some of this stuff. But why come out so expensive? Let's see. I'll browse all 6 reviews. So it's based on a board game. Okay, that explains a little bit. Here's a review that's recommended. It says good, could be even better.
Swiftly.
Let's see.
There once was a man from building.
A German review that says negative, not recommended, but then there's several other reviews that are positive. So Flashpoint's in a weird position because I'd prefer a tabletop simulator to play games like these, particularly niche games like this, because I've never heard of this game, Flashpoint. Fire Rescue. I imagine if you had a kid who was really into firemen, they might want to play this.
Thank you.
Although this might make it a little too realistic, it might be better to play the board game. Yeah, I find often in board game to video game conversions, it's better to play the board game. The fact that it doesn't have online multiplayer is problematic. The fact that it's so expensive is problematic. So this is going to be a lost gem of a game. I can't put that on my wish list, not for that price. And if it gets really, really down in price, I'm sure somebody will talk about it. THQ Nordic can just not stop themselves at this point. Like, they are putting way too much on their plate, and they have announced yet again that they're going to release a new remaster. So Red Faction Guerrilla is coming back in a remastered edition because it was set on Mars. Now, if I'm recalling correctly, and I could be totally wrong about this, Red Faction Guerrilla, not the most successful game out there. So it'll be interesting to see if, I guess it gives me an opportunity to maybe play this game that I never did play in a remastered format. That's what I'm trying to do with Darksiders 2 right now. That's what I should be playing right now, is Darksiders 2 instead of streaming. But whatever. It's my fault for having insomnia and sleeping an entire day away. And just
Takari killed trespassers.
So that'll be interesting. I suppose I'll wait for some reviews and see how people feel about it. I have like 5 cards, and I don't know if this guy's trying to win or let me win. Let's see. I got a bad graphics game called Quest-like. It says Quest-like is a charge time battle system RPG. It is the second game from this developer. It's 20% off for $4. The first game is 99 cents right now. And I'm looking at all these screenshots of this very old school looking RPG game, and yeah, I can't see any reason why I'm going to spend $4 on this. No reviews. Which is not surprising. In a weird way, Steam has started to hide curators. Like, it says one curator has reviewed this, click here to see what they say. And right, so we've finally done all the shaman cards. Now all we need is a victory. And who would play well on a victory like this? I feel like playing the mage might be a decent card, just so we can do spells still and spell damage. Yeah, if we just type in spell and then we decide to take all of these people that increase the spell damage, this for 1/1, you've got it set really nicely. Alright, so Flame Strike would be probably too expensive. This is probably good. Let's give it a Flame Strike. This is fine. Ice Block while we're here. That while we're there. Spells are cheaper. That's there. Alright, let's see. Let's get rid of that one and take that. Yeah, I think that works pretty good. But we'll see if this is a terrible deck build or not. See, there's a game called Go All Out, came out March 29th. It's from Blue Sunset Games, which has made 4 games. Right now it's 10% off for $1.79.
You asked for it. Oh,
and it looks like a platform brawler in the vein of Smash Brothers. And I don't know. It looks good, but does it play good? Does it have any interesting characters? There's a lot of things you have to bend over backwards to accommodate to make a Smash Brothers clone on PC that would maybe work as a pale comparison to Smash. This game doesn't look like it has enough platforms. It doesn't look like it has enough characters. It doesn't look like it has enough items. Remember, Smash Brothers is full of characters and items. That is a big deal. Let's see. It has local multiplayer, but no online multiplayer, so it's not going to sell. It's early access. And there's one recommended thing that's not marked as being in English. Maybe because they use the word repertoire for some insane reason.
Someday I'll be just like you.
Job done.
That was probably not the right move to play with any of them, but so yeah, you'd have to be burnt out on all the other Smash Brothers clone games before you play Go All Out. Games London initiative has been given $1.7 million investment from the London mayor. That his name is Sadiq Khan, S-A-D-I-Q space K-H-A-N. He committed £1.2 million, or 1.7 million US dollars, depending on the rate. The thing that's kind of weird is
Only a fool
the thing that I feel like kills video game development in London and the UK in general more than anything else is their draconian, like, hate speech laws and censorship, and just their draconian 1984 way in which they kind of run their country. If I was a member of England and was trying to make games, and then I saw that the Scottish comedian what is his name? Dracula or Ducula? Whatever his name is, was just sentenced to house arrest because of a joke. Like, I don't feel really confident to build my business in the UK. I would come over to the United States if I was a UK citizen and build my business in the United States where they have First Amendment protections and can actually make the art they want to make. As crazy as that sounds. And that's getting a little bit more political than I wanted to be today, so I'm gonna move on. We've got so much to talk about still as far as news. Games. I'm not sure that I really actually want to cover all of this news today. I could save half of it for tomorrow. This is interesting. I'm looking at a game called War Spells, has no reviews. It's from a company called Games for Teens, which has, let's see, 4 games out. This is selling for 30% off for $4.19. And it really looks like it's the exact same clone of a character. Like, there's one female character and there's one male character in the entire game, and they just wildly swing their arms around to cast wizard spells with their magic wand, and they have a very generic like shield on them, and they're running around asset flips like school hallways, and basically that's pretty much all of it. There might be a school gymnasium in one of them. Way too expensive. Way too expensive for what they're trying to sell. No wonder that there are no reviews. I don't know, like, can you even make a game that would be interesting around this premise? Not unless you are doing a heavy Harry Potter ripoff, heavier than what they're doing. And you have a lot more than 2 different character models. But I think you need a lot more gameplay too. I don't think you can just have a character walk around with swing arms and fling a lightning ball at somebody. It seems clearly designed to just trick people into them. The next game we have is a game called Sloppy Goat from Shark Game, who has put out about 8 games on Steam, and no reviews. Came out March 29th. It looks like a cell phone game that's been ported. The graphics are very flat. They're playing as this goat that I believe is platforming and puzzling to get from point A to point B. And it seems like there's only maybe 30 levels in the entire game.
I wonder.
Yeah, 30 levels of varying difficulty, 3 different locations. They want, it's 40% off for 59 cents, so they know their game's not that interesting looking. Sorry, this just looks too much like so many other bad cell phone games. Like, the main cell phone game I play is Clash Royale, and that's because it's a moderately good game. If somebody was going to give me something that sort of looked like Clash Royale, but wasn't as good, I wouldn't play it.
Light your fire?
Apparently, it's not puzzling. You're not pushing the box. The boxes are just falling from the sky, and you have to move to avoid them. Almost similar to that game Catherine, where you're, well, it's not like Catherine actually. It's more like a Tetris game where you're in the middle of the Tetris. Let's see. Your Game has been covering the story that Granger Games is telling its shops to not open their stores and close down. I've never heard of Granger Games, so it must be a Europe-only company. They were telling a certain number of their stores not to open, and now they've updated it to say that that all of them are not going to open. Let's see, Granger Games had 400 employees across 67 stores. I would say that's probably a rough estimate and not the exact numbers. So why another video game store is going out of business, I don't know. It's just, I suppose, maybe a sign of the times, maybe there was some other reason. You would think with Toys R Us going out of business in the US, there's probably going to be a collection of niche toy stores that target different people. I could see more of a Babies R Us early learning toy stores popping up, and then more of a teenager type toy store, and then more of a young adult type teenager type toy store, and just kind of breaking it up into different groups, much like how schools, at least in the United States, tend to have a middle school to break up elementary students from high school students, and have a few years in which these people don't interact with each other. There's a game called Temptation that has no reviews, came out March 29th.
Well played.
It's the third game by this developer. It's 40% off for
Job done.
Thank you.
it's 40% off for 59 cents.
Let's make magic.
I want to look at this animation because the animation doesn't look great, but it also looks like it's a hand-drawn artistic style that might be intentional. Let's see. It kind of looks like they're trying to draw Peter Griffin. Temptation is a game about a medieval priest who is suddenly possessed by a demon. Your goal is to perform an unusual ritual of exorcism to banish the demon from you. Alright, so that's 1 of 7 victories, and we got the Tavern Brawl done. So now we're going to do Tragic Master's gameplay idea. Although, ooh, legendary. A golden rare, a rare,
Legendary.
and King Mukla. That is helpful. Getting those legendaries is definitely going to be very helpful for the basic cards. Because for this European account, King Mukla normally not something you'd play. Kinda something I would play. I just disenchanted that into dust, which tells me I probably already had 2 of the other ones. Alright, let's do this. Alright, what am I playing right now? I'm playing the Rogue. Some Vanish. Cavern Below. I think the Cavern Below is probably not the right move to play. But do I want to do Jade Lotus? Or do I want to do Pirates? I'm gonna take basic anyways and just try to win. Doesn't really matter if I win or lose on this specific battle because they'll just reset and start on the really easy guys.
Valir versus Bugard.
This game Temptation.
Watch your back.
Time for pain.
Video games are such an audio-visual media that, like, when you have something that looks hand-drawn, it just doesn't look that good. And let's be honest, the rest of this gameplay mechanics and a lot of these screenshots are just not impressing me at all. It seems like it might be a game that occurs on one screen. Like, all these things combined give me a poor first impression of this game. So I wouldn't be willing to try out Temptation. I'd be willing to try it a little bit more than maybe some other games, but that we've seen, not enough. Gamasutra has an article. The Orcs Must Die developer Robot Entertainment has laid off 30 of its staff. Orcs Must Die is a game that came out a while ago. Quite a while ago.
Come, try your luck.
Hero Academy. I don't even know when that came out. Let's see. The studio had 2 teams working on different projects over the past 18 months, but has scaled down its operations and will now be focusing on just one title. The company has pledged to help those affected find new opportunities and explained it will continue to operate Hero Academy 2 and Orcs Must Die Unchained as normal while working on the unannounced project. And yeah, I think that's part of the deal.
This guy's toast.
Guess again.
Is that Orcs Must Die Unchained was a attempt to make like a, I think, online game full of loot boxes, free to play type game, instead of just making Orcs Must Die 3, which was, you know, Orcs Must Die in general wasn't the best game ever, but it was a decent enough game to deserve its sequel that it got, and probably another sequel on top of that. Okay. There's one victory. I can't speak to Hero Academy. The thing here is they're not saying how many employees they had in the first place, so 30 seems like it's half their employment. And Tragic Master was correct. This does count as victories, which makes it nice and easy. I'm just gonna take this and keep on playing. If I get it all the way to the end, that'll be nice too. Although all you do is get a card back if you beat all 9 of the hero classes, and I was very, very disappointed for the amount of effort it took to do this on my main account and just get a card back. I thought it was going to give me a golden version of a card, and it didn't. There's a game on Steam called Aladdin and the Enchanted Lamp. Aladdin being public domain is not something that anybody can copyright. It's from a developer that also has a 20,000 League Under the Sea and Les Miserables. 2 Les Miserables games. Interesting. Les Miserables Cosette's Face and Les Miserables Jean Valjean. So they're trying to get people to play these games, certainly. They're also the people that released Alice in Wonderland Hidden Objects. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is just a hidden object game. Let's see what it is. Trailer is a hidden object game.
You want to buy a fun
And I'm not seeing any real picture of Alice or, well, Aladdin or a lamp. Let's see. Okay, they showed me a lamp. And I assume you're playing as Aladdin through his eyes. And there's a blue genie that doesn't quite look like. Let's see. 5 damage. There we go. This game is selling for no discount for $1.99. It has 40 scenes and some mini puzzle games. It's just a hidden object game. And for $2, a hidden object game doesn't look that good. There's like one picture here of Jasmine, it seems, in the far distance. Probably could have gotten more people interested if you'd put her closer to the screen.
Buy one!
Yep. There is certainly room to make an Aladdin or the Arabian Nights in general stories. Like, Aladdin is just one of the Arabian Night tales, if I'm recalling correctly. So,
Come, try your luck.
You could make a game based on that whole story a lot better than you could even doing Aladdin. because that's a more interesting story that people don't discuss or talk about, is the 1001 Nights, where the Sultan is going to kill his wife after their wedding night unless she keeps him distracted and entertained. So she starts telling him stories, and she always leaves them on a cliffhanger on the stories every night. So he decides to not kill her.
Guess again.
You prolong the inevitable. Hey, you want to buy a funnel cake?
And that's after like 1001 nights of her keeping him on the hook. He finally gives up and says, fine, I won't kill you. Because that was his whole thing, is that he was killing everybody he married, and he was marrying somebody like every day for his harem. Let's see. Image. Choose a friendly take it.
I must protect the sanctum. Buy one!
Here we go.
Let's see. The game Penny Punching Princess Physical Edition has been cancelled in the UK due to unforeseen circumstances, according to Gematsu. It didn't look like a game that really needed a physical version. It'll still be available digital for the Switch and PS Vita. It's being released by NIS America, which is a publisher of a lot of Japanese style games, and yeah, there's nothing super interesting looking at as far as this game is. It's all coming out in Europe on March 30th and North America on March 30th. Can I kill this guy?
Hey, you want to buy a funnel cake?
I live to serve the Lich King. Here we go.
Go ahead and kill this one.
Job's done.
So we've got a bad looking game called the M0RG versus Keys. It is like the 6th game that's been released by this developer. That was the same developer that released Bitcoin vs. Brain. It's a total garbage joke asset flips game. It's not worth the 59 cents that it's selling for.
Need something unusual?
Let's see, I guess I could keep myself alive, sort of.
Ha, this guy's toast.
Maybe?
Buy one!
This. This.
Here we go.
That. Nope, that's Alright. So we're about 24 minutes over our stream. I should have broken up the good thing here is we learned that I could probably do this one, and this one easily on an easy victory thing, which whoever I want to pick, I could just pick any random one and get the first 3 done, and that'll work towards the 5 total victories I need on the European account. But really what I should have done is I should have switched over to the Americas account, because this, I imagine, is just full of quests that I need to get done. And I guess I don't really need a post show. I just am trying to struggle through game listings. Let's see. And we've got like one more tavern brawl we need to do. Let's see, Paladin or Warrior. We'll trade that one out. So, Shaman class cards, 20 that cost 5 or more, and Beasts are pretty easy things to play while also trying to get the Tavern Brawl. We've got a card pack to open. We don't need to get any victories for anything. So, yeah. In the next recording, we need to get at least 2 of these done and the Tavern Brawl. And then I think we're gonna also just wrap up this stream. Maybe I'll do a quick move in which I look through things and see if there's any real major news, but there really isn't going to be too much news because this is the slow time before E3. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below in the description box. If you want to support me, give me a game on Steam. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.